What if I told you that selling three $20 items a day, 5 days a week, could bring you an extra $1,200 a month in retirement? Let me show you what I mean. For me, being of retirement age was not a time to start slowing down. Quite the opposite. For me, it was a time to start learning something new, and that something new is what I want to share with you today. Let's go through and break it down how I determine how you can make that $1,200 extra a month. I buy items that are very inexpensive, and I'll go through that with you later in this video. But I will share with you and start scrolling below some of the items that have recently sold that have been over $20 so that I will make that $20 profit. If you list and sell 3 items a day at a $20 profit, $60 a day times 5 days a week out of your 7 days a week, that is $300 times 4 weeks. That turns into $1,200 a month. I think that most of us in retirement could absolutely use that extra $1,200 a month. You won't need any special skills. You don't need a huge upfront investment. This is just a slow, steady side hustle that you can earn $1,200 a month to use to supplement your retirement income, or maybe it's your travel fund, or maybe it's a car payment. Whatever it is, let's get into the nitty gritty of how this works. Step number one, you just need to set up that account. There's a lot of good videos that can show you how to do that. I won't reinvent the wheel. On YouTube, search how to start selling on eBay 2025. There are people that have done really good technical. I'm a visual learner, so start with that. Start with watching. I must have watched videos for 3 months before I decided to take the plunge and start reselling. Start with that. Set up your eBay account or your Poshmark account. Link your bank information. That feels a little scary, but these are reputable sites that you can do that with. And then start listing. So for the listing, I'm going to set up a little graphic here to show you the supplies that you'll need to begin. I have purchased everything that I have used on Amazon. I did not invest in much at all in the beginning. I did not open up a storefront. I just started simply by listing things around our home. I would absolutely, if you take nothing else from me in this video, start with what you own. Have an open mind, look around your home. You would be surprised, even if you're living in an apartment, things that you don't need to be in a home, things that you already have on hand, especially at our age. There may be collectible items, vintage items, things that you can sell parts, you can sell books, you can sell jewelry, you may have inherited things. Take a look around your home and start selling there. Don't go out and buy a lot of inventory. You might not like this. What if you don't like this and you have all these things now that you've invested in? This should not cost you a lot of money to begin this journey. eBay is king. eBay has the most active users. I feel like the last time I looked, it was 180 million active users. eBay allows you to sell almost anything. Poshmark is much easier. Facebook Marketplace we use for items that are too bulky for me to ship, and people come right to our home and pick those up. I always have Brian home when I sell on Facebook Marketplace, or we just have porch pickup. We're able to do that where we leave a little mailbox outside. Listing your items. You don't need to invest in fancy lighting. I did buy some lights in the beginning because when I first began selling, it was in the winter months in Minnesota. It got very dark here at 5 o'clock. I did invest in lights. I'm now home during the daylight hours and I just open up the window. I have taken pictures outside. Just make sure your pictures are crisp and clean. Use as many photos as your app will allow. I believe on eBay it's 24. On Poshmark, I think it's 16. Take angles, take different sides. Sometimes it's redundant if it's just a handbag or like a makeup bag. How many angles can you take of something like that? Open it up, unzip the zippers, take photos inside the pockets, take a tape measure. Some people think that doesn't look as good. I take a tape measure and go across everything horizontally, vertically. Then there is no discrepancy in what I put down as a measurement. I show the measurements on every single thing that I list. And when you're looking for learning and ways to learn how to do the shipping, I think that's what's the most intimidating, especially on eBay. Poshmark shipping is simpler, but there's some intricacies there as well. Again, just look at videos, watch YouTube videos. I'll tell you what I do on eBay. I use calculated shipping. Which means it'll charge the buyer. You can offer free shipping. I have the buyer pay shipping. It didn't seem like a good business plan for me to pay for free shipping. If I live in Minnesota and the item is going to California, cost me a whole lot more than if living in Minnesota if the item is going to Iowa. I have the buyer absorb that cost. That might not be what you want to do. That's just what works for me. I offer 30-day returns, not free returns, 30-day returns. The buyer also has to pay for the return shipping. It may make for less sales, but for me and my business plan, that is what I like. But you have different options to do. You can offer free shipping, you can offer no returns, you can offer free returns, whatever makes sense for you and your business model and what you want this eBay store to be, that's what you should do. What to sell. This is where I think I am different than a lot of videos that I watch. Many of the videos that you watch will be of YouTubers going into thrift stores and showing you what they find and talking you through what they find, and purchasing items from Goodwill and Savers and community thrift stores. I do that too. But the majority of things that I purchase are from the Goodwill bins, from church rummage fill-a-bag sales, and from free items that I get from friends and family. Definitely tell people what you do. When I was working, I had a coworker that would bring me things that she was going to bring to the Goodwill. Here you go. Just have it. I'm going to donate it anyway. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers what it is you do. You'd be surprised. I have had neighbors come by and say, my mom passed away. There's got to be a value in this. Do you want to try and sell it? And I will accept those things, but I am not as comfortable and don't want to do consignment. I have one friend that I'm doing that for, but I pay taxes on all of these sales. So I want to take in items and not have to turn around. Been asked so many times about this, selling for other people. I have done it. I don't think it's a terrible thing, depending on what the person is that what the item is that the person wants you to sell. But you pay taxes on these items. And so someone has a $200 purse and it sells for $200 and they even say, let's split it. I'm paying tax on that $200. So in reality, I'm doing all the work. They're just handing me the product. I'm doing all the work, shipping, photographing, listing, storing, customer service, driving it to the post office. So I take in items that people willingly will just give me. If you're looking around your home and you're starting to think, well, what could I sell? I don't believe you need a store right away. I would encourage you not to get an eBay store. Poshmark just takes a flat 20%. You don't need to get a store. You're just going to give them 20% of the sale price. When you start to list, in order to get those 3 sales a day, you can't just put up 6 items and think that they will sell. You need to consistently list every day if you can, even if it's just 1 item a day. You need to consistently build your inventory. That goes into why I spend very, very little on my inventory. But in order to sell 3 items a day, you need to have a decent amount of inventory. I try and be around the 1,000 mark. I have about 1,000 items in my eBay store. I used to have closer to 2,000 items. That was before Rover and doing this YouTube channel. But in order to build that, as you're selling off those items, you need to keep replenishing those items. Your store needs to be active. And I enjoy the hunt. It is part of the thrill for me. When you sell that item, you need to replace that item and you need to start building a repetition of that. You should plan to list about 15 or more items a week. If you can list 5 items a day, that would be perfect. You will see much better results the more consistent that you are. Purchasing your items. I think, unique in that I buy things at a very, very reduced cost. I go to fill-a-bag sales at the church. I go to the Goodwill bins. And if you're saying, well, I don't have that, I live in a small town, I don't have access to doing that, you're going to start in your home. You're going to ask friends and family for items. Make sure that you tell people what you do. You're going to join free items, Facebook groups that offer free items. There are, in our community, there are curbside days, there are free event days, there are ways to find inventory if you do not have it readily accessible to you. If you go into the thrift stores, which most of us within a little drive probably have a thrift store close by, I like to make 10 times, I shoot for 10 times my investment. If I buy something for $2, I'd like it to bring me $20, $3. I'd like it to bring me $30. You need to look up sell-through rate. That is the most critical point of building a successful reselling business, is understanding what sell-through rate is. People have done a lot of videos on that. I'm just going to quickly explain to you that if you go in and you want to sell a blue Nike shirt, collared shirt, blue polo collared Nike golf shirt, and you see that there are 12,000 listed, you go and look at the solds in eBay. You'll look at how many have sold. That's in the last 90 days. If you see that 12,000 blue polo golf shirts have sold, that's 100% sell-through rate. That's a slam dunk. But if you look at those solds and you see that only 8 have sold, do you know how long it's going to take you to resell your item? It's going to take you forever. Let's talk about how to price your item. Let's say you have a certain Starbucks mug and you look at on eBay and you see that your exact Starbucks mug or close to it, there are 50 of them listed and people are pricing them between $15 and $50. And then you check solds, and of those 50 listed, 30 have sold. Well, that's a fantastic sell-through rate. That's in 90 days. There are 50 that have been listed, 30 of them sold. The average price there is $25. If you want to wait for top dollar, price yours at 40. If you want it to quickly sell, go under the $20. Sometimes there isn't any comparables. There isn't any way to know you've got a really unique item. I either will put it on an auction and I will start the bid at the minimum I would take, and then let the internet tell you what it's going to sell for. I don't often do that. That's a whole, look that up as to how you run auctions. But if you really don't have any idea of what you have and what the value would be, I would start a little high. I do accept offers. I have that toggled on, that I accept offers. I have that turned on. And if you're willing to, and if it's okay, take that offer. You also have to decide on, how much room you have to store. You have to determine what this is going to be for you. If it's a hobby or if you are truly using it as a way to make extra income, you're going to want to base your store and your business plan around that. I don't mind hanging on to some things. We have room in our home to do that. You may not have room to hang on to things. Again, you come up with a business plan, that works for you and your family. So some of the things I want to end with here on building success: ship your items within 1 day. Be good with your customer service. People that ask, if they ask you a question, answer them right away, because they're going to move on to the next person. Take clear pictures. You want, if you're looking, you know how you scroll and want to purchase items, you, like me, you're going to probably search from lowest to highest. So you don't necessarily want to be the highest. You want to end up on that first page. You want your picture to be crisp. That first picture is the only reason they're going to click on your listing, that first photo. I use an app called Pick Tap Go. I did a video and showed you how that works. That crisps up my photos. I don't have a photo studio. I use natural lighting. I sit on the floor in my office here. I use foam boards from the dollar store. I use my iPhone camera. That app, one of which I've only paid for one app, two apps in my whole life. That one was worth it to me. It just takes that photo and makes all of the colors brighter. Provide good customer service, ship out, and package it up how you'd like to receive it. I think if people are on the fence about returning something, how you open it up shows that you care about it. Roll that roller over it. Make sure the zippers are zipped. Have it look, I do a little sticker on each one. I make sure that it looks good. Don't just shove it in a bag. Do your best to not have it break. Things happen. You're going to make mistakes. That's the only way that you learn. That's really okay. Just get started. Watch a bunch of videos like I did. Just get started, and you will see that you can make an extra $1,200 or more a month in retirement.